Now, don't forget, you can listen to Good Things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget to watch us, which you can do on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, Christmas movies are a part of the holiday tradition, and we've got a new one for you to add to your list to see. Joining us today is Nathan VonMinden. VonMinden. Did I say it correctly?
VonMinden.
VonMinden. Oh, I'll get it. I promise, Nathan, I'll get it before the end of the show. Producers on the new stop-motion Christmas movie, Still the Naughty List, with Upstairs Studio Animation. And the cool part is it was homegrown and filmed right here in Mississippi. So welcome, Nathan.
Thanks for having me. Excited to talk about Still the Naughty List.
I know, and I asked you, are you exhausted? Is this like you coming into the finish line? Are you hoping for Christmas to hurry up and get past? I know this has been a long road for you, but you and your family, kind of where are y'all at in this moment, in this process?
Yeah, so we made this movie with our entire family. We have 6 kids that we homeschool, and mostly our 3 older kids helped us out the most. And my wife is my producer, and we had a host of other, artists and people working on the film with us from Mississippi. And yeah, we released the movie back on November 15th, and we're just out marketing and telling people about it.
Yeah, a whirlwind of it. Well, I think it's perfect timing here as we're wrapping up school for a lot of families, and they're looking for that something to get on the couch and sort of do. And here's a fun way to add a new movie to their list of things to watch and also support a Mississippian, because this is like supporting a small business. And you guys have that business, the Upstairs Studio Animation. Now, I know that is actually tied to where your studio is located. So tell us how your family even found itself in the business of making films.
So I've been making movies for about 10 years and video production for about 20 years, and made 2 other movies. First one, Uganda Man, the second, which is a documentary about the water crisis in Rishiri, Uganda. And then our second movie was like a movie with Dean Cain, Les Miles, Eric Hansen, Cameron Arnett. It's called The Challenger Disaster. And so we made that a few years ago, and it's about the group of engineers who tried to stop the launch in 1986 before the doomed Challenger launch. I have a background in aerospace engineering. So aerospace engineering plus filmmaking, you get the Challenger disaster.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. So was the filmmaking always like a love for you, Nathan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've loved movies my whole life and loved them in a different way than just a spectator. To me, it was more like a player coach. Like I wanted to be in there making that kind of stuff. And so I've gotten an opportunity to make a few. And once we got done with the Challenger disaster, I love that movie, but it was difficult to make because it's about a heavy subject. And so our next movie, I was like, I want to write jokes the whole time, just try to make people laugh and do something bright and fun and charming. And that's where we landed on Steal the Naughty List.
Well, of all the things, Christmas. And so that's a very sort of niche sort of market. Obviously, most folks are watching Christmas movies this time of year, not necessarily throughout the year, although it can happen now with streaming. You can watch them whenever you want to. But so why a Christmas movie?
I love Christmas. I love Christmas movies. I was on the couch last night watching Home Alone 2 for the 3rd time already this year. Like, that's too many times to watch Home Alone 2, but it's just one of the best movies ever made.
That's your favorite one out of them, not the original?
Yeah, I think Home Alone 2 I like better than the first one.
Why? You know what's going to happen.
I think, okay, so Home Alone 2, I love the setup part of it, the cheesy setup of how Kevin gets left home alone and how they're having to jump through so many hoops to get to that, where in other movies it feels forced and weird and cheesy, but there it's like we're in on the game with them. We're playing along with the writers of it. So I love the structure of that, and then I think the booby trap section of the film is just so much more elaborate than the first one. It's
well, they realized that was their moneymaker.
Oh yeah, like the bricks to the face. Is like we're just all sitting there laughing at it like we saw it for the first time yesterday. So I mean, I just love Christmas movies. Also, I think I watched yesterday the Christmas Carol. I love all Christmas Carol movies. Muppets, Jim Carrey, musicals, whatever. There's just something about that story I love, and I don't know. Maybe it's because even at Christmas time, we're all fake nice to each other. I'll settle for fake nice. Like, fake nice is fine.
And I think, too, usually Christmas movies are comforting. There's like that predictability that there's going to be a happy ending, you hope. I can't think of one Christmas movie that has a tragic ending. That would be terrible, right? It would go against the grain. So, yeah, that's why they're a beloved tradition for so many families. And they are, so it feels like that's such a sacred ground to walk on, Nathan. So how did you approach it to maybe share something that's very familiar, which is getting us in the Christmas season, but in a new way, that it's a different story that maybe we necessarily hadn't seen or heard before?
Yeah. So we've all seen, like, Rudolph, those old stop motion movies, and even the first part of Elf. We kind of thought, like, what if we took the first part of Elf and made a whole stop motion movie with that level of charm and cuteness and just texture to it? And then I started thinking about the naughty list. I'm kind of attracted to the anti-hero aspect of filmmaking for some reason. We've even been developing a movie called Bible Smugglers. And it's like, I'm attracted to people doing something wrong for the right reasons, or I don't know what that means about me. But so we started with that idea of the naughty list. And a lot of filmmaking is thinking of obstacles and drama, which is just overcoming obstacles. That's what drama is. Even in comedy, you have to have those obstacles to overcome. And I thought, well, what's the worst way to get off the naughty list? Like, the most backwards way. And then I thought, well, you could steal it, because you'd be doing something bad to get off the naughty list. And then I started thinking of the type of characters that would want to steal it. And for me, that's where structure comes in. And you start structuring a story out, and you can kind of see, like, you start asking yourself questions like, well, how do they get on the naughty list? You know, and then I know it doesn't write itself, but it sort of presents itself forward like that.
With 6 kids, it writes itself. So are all the characters based off of your children and their toddler years? I'm speaking also from experience, and I'm joking some of that. But I feel like, you know, when you look at these characters, or when you think about that too in the Christmas, anytime there's like a story of redemption or second chances or things of that nature, you put yourself or a loved one or something you've walked in sort of in those shoes that can feel very, make it connected for the audience. But this wasn't an easy process, Nathan. This was like, when you talk about stop motion, like, that's time intensive. Was your gang like, have you lost your mind? Couldn't we just do regular digital, or, you know, I don't know, animation, as if it's any different, or were they up for the challenge?
You know,
or should I have asked them before November? Is there 2 different answers before November the 15th?
Yeah, I'm going to speak for them, actually. You know, making a movie with your family is definitely challenging. Making a stop motion film, period, is challenging, because literally everything you see on screen, you have to make by hand and film it frame by frame. It's as easy and as difficult as it sounds. You move it, you take a picture. You move it, you take a picture. And you multiply that by whatever needs to be moved on screen, and all the engineering that goes into it, and problem solving. You know, we wanted to, with our kids, because they were at that age where they're getting jobs, responsibilities, they're thinking about what they want to do. We wanted to teach them some of these principles that my wife and I have learned over the years, with completing things all the way through communication, collaboration, problem solving. And yeah, we decided the idea felt so strong. And my son and I had been doing stop motion for various projects for about 10 years, that we felt like, okay, we can do this. And so we invested in some 3D printers, started making characters. My son and I would sort of design. He's 19. My son Jack is 19 at this point, and he's a really talented artist. So we would sit down and draw out characters, come up with ideas, send them off to a guy in Sri Lanka named Rashith, who has been like a terrific part of our process. And he would send us back like these 3D modeled characters, and then we'd print them out, we'd mold them, we'd make them so they're animatable. And yeah, so all those things that you learn together as a family, and also how to lead. Like, as we were having contractors come in, you know, from here in the state, outside of the state, and do art for us, do animation for us, do some visual effects for us, stuff like that. Jackson was a leader in that process. My wife was a leader in that process. And then so, yeah, I just love what they've learned through the entire process. of making the movie.
And I love that it's from Mississippi and the fact that you guys stuck through with it, because I knew it took a long time. We've got more time with Nathan, the creator of Still the Naughty List, coming up next. You got a little sneak peek of Still the Naughty List. You got to listen to it too. That's from Upstairs Studio Animation and Nathan VonMinden. Yes, I got it right. Is with us. He is the creator, along with his family, helped put this together in their home here in Mississippi. It's stop animation, and if you got to see it, you could see where all the hard work came through. What's sort of the plot of it? You mentioned Still the Naughty List, doing something bad for a good reason to get off of it. But overall, the two snowmen, kind of, what's the overarching theme of the movie?
So it's about a group of Arctic characters who travel across the frozen tundra to try and steal the naughty list. And along the way, they sort of learn the origins of where Santa Claus comes from, which is based in the real St. Nicholas, who lived a long time ago. And it's sort of, we took a lot of inspiration from The Wizard of Oz. So the Yellow Brick Road, they follow the frozen river. And how, I love that movie so much, The Wizard of Oz. And we gave them all little personality disorders like narcissists and anxious and depressed and things like that. So the polar bear, has trouble being warm and is depressed all the time. The ice skater is so anxious he can't go forward, so he's only going backwards. And then the main character is a complete narcissist, one of the snowmen. And so we just, in the same way of like Groundhog Day, how can you take someone that's solely focused on themselves and have them change over the course of a film? So that's a little bit about Steal the Naughty List.
Kind of like The Grinch too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, in sort of that way, because the ending, I know it's wrapped up in what the Christmas spirit is sort of all about, and that people can have second chances and all the things, which I think is so good for families to continue to hear throughout this holiday and any sort of time then. And two, but recognizing how much work went into this. So, is it right? 4 years, Nathan? Did
4 years of production, daily production on this movie in our studio.
When you set out 4 years ago to do this, did you think 2 years, 1 year? What was kind of like what you thought in your mind would be in terms of making this happen?
Let me tell you, seriously, if we knew how much work this would have taken, we probably would have never started. I mean, it was kind of insane looking back now, like that we even, but I guess that was the superpower of not really knowing what you're getting into and just like barreling ahead and going, we're going to do this and we're going to finish it, and just keeping that going no matter what was kind of and somehow our whole family got on board with that.
What was it like on the last day of shooting when you realized you took the last frame or the shot or whatever, and finally after 4 years your family could at least move to the next part of it, which is getting it uploaded and out to the world and all of that? What was that? I mean, because there's a singular moment where, the curtains close in terms of production. So what was that like for your family?
What's interesting is on my other movies, you can't really predict where this is going to happen, but there's this euphoric release of pressure, this anxiety that you've had. It's kind of the weight of the world comes off your shoulders, and to see where that happened differently for each of us has been really interesting. So for me, we hired a consultant to like the Michael Jordans of stop motion to watch our film and give us some feedback. This is a little bit before the end of production, but at that moment is where I had the most like relief feeling of going, okay, we're not complete psycho lunatics for doing this. Another big part of it was when we showed it to audiences of like a few thousand people, and they were all laughing at the right places and they were enjoying it. And we were like, okay, wow, this is funny, because you write these jokes like 4 or 5 years ago, because we probably wrote the first script about 6 years ago. And it stops being funny.
Yes, after you say it over. It's like any word that you kind of say over and over again as you're trying to like spell it or put it somewhere, it starts to sound really weird. And so I would assume the same thing happened to you. But you also have a knockout cast. So if people recognize some of the voices that are in Still the Naughty List, who would you rack up to sort of voice some of your characters?
So probably the person most people know is Kevin Sorbo. Hercules, Andromeda. He's been in so many movies and TV shows. We all know Kevin, and he's like we were looking for that Clint Eastwood sort of voice, and Kevin's voice was perfect for that. In fact, when we make the movie in the animatic form, which is where we just draw things out and put in scratch voices, it's kind of like we make up these voices, and we always wonder, is the person's voice going to sound right for that? And as soon as Kevin started talking, we were like, perfection, you know. And then another one is Brian Hull. He was in the Hotel Transylvania movies. And then one of my goals was I wanted to work with comedians. Like, I love working with stand-up comedians. They get comedy. They're good writers. They have lots of good ideas. So Bob Smiley, Christian McCartney, Leslie Robb, they're all like up and coming, really. Bob is a really established comedian, but some of these other folks, and then other friends like Mary Sarah, who's a talented musician and voiceover artist herself. So I really loved our cast that we had on this movie. Joe Navarro is another one. Like, he's a talented comedian on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So,
how much did technology play into this? Could you have done this film 10 years ago?
No. This film is, I think, impossible 10 years ago. And here's why. We needed some technology for communications to be in the right place, but also 3D printing. 3D printing 10 years ago was not affordable and solid, meaning like it would work the way you wanted it to work. The way materials get used in the 3D printers, you know, where it actually builds something out of like melted plastic or this goop that hardens over time. You build it in a computer and you can have it like print in real life. It's the craziest thing. But that technology 10 years ago was not affordable / usable enough for us to benefit from it, the rapid prototyping that we needed.
That was such an investment for your family, Nathan. Will y'all use it for other projects?
Oh, yeah. Upstairs Studio right now is we're taking on other clients, helping people create animation for their companies, stuff like that. So, you know, if anybody needs something, we're the folks to talk to. You know, you need fun, charming things for products, toys, stuff like that. Like, we're all about it. We love making fun, uplifting, upbeat, colorful, bright things. You know, that's kind of our fun wheelhouse.
So where can we watch it, Nathan?
If you go to iTunes, Amazon, Apple TV, and just look for Steal the Naughty List, type it in, Steal the Naughty List. If you forget it, just think of the Naughty List, type that in. I'm sure it'll pop up. And yeah, we need everybody in Mississippi to step up and watch this movie, guys. Like, get out there and rent it and buy it. Tell your friends about it. It would really make a difference to us. And honestly, like, we're the first ever animated movie in Mississippi, which means we're the first ever stop motion movie in Mississippi ever made. And so if we want to see more stuff like this get made, we got to, you know, buy it.
Well, you know, we talk about all the time here on Good Things, Nathan, about supporting local businesses. And this is another unique way to be able to do that, right? Like, you're not necessarily a storefront on one of our main streets, but you're a Data 6 whose family's all nestled here, and, you know, and purchasing it goes right back into our neighborhoods. So, and in providing these opportunities. So it's just a unique way to sort of do that, and something fun to do for the family. You ain't gonna have anything else to do over the next couple of days. Sure, shopping and all the things, but like the kids having something fun to watch. What are you most looking forward to in terms of break, if not having this on your daily to-do list?
You know, we really are excited for people to experience it. It's, you know, we made it in our home, in our studio, but it was made by a lot of people, and are kind of an expensive film for us to make. And so now people are enjoying it, and the reviews are coming back, and they're coming back positive. Seeing people laugh and enjoy it as a family. I'm getting so many text messages from people around the United States and the state, just kind of sending us simple photos of their family snuggled together, watching it and having a great time. And that's been the vision. You know, we want that for people. And look, you're going to run out of Christmas movies. Like, if you haven't, like me, already started rewatching them, you're looking for something that has that nostalgic feeling, but also is something new and fun. So I just say, give Steal the Naughty List a chance. Give
it a chance and support a local business here in Mississippi. And we look forward to what's coming out of your upstairs animation production next. You'll have to come back and let us know whenever you can talk about all the cool things. How about that, Nathan?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas, Nathan. And you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.